Hello everyone, Ben here, and welcome back to my whatever today's video is going to be. Today we're going to be talking about the 1968 presidential election. If George Romney, Mitt Romney's father, had run. Now he was from Michigan. Let me go ahead and pull up quickly what the actual results were, and this would more than likely affect a few states. I'm going to assume that Wallace still runs because Humphrey is the nominee for the Democrats. I think that makes the most sense. So we're going to split Alaska and Hawaii because obviously. There we go. I'm going to assume that nothing really changes out west. We still have all these states being mostly solid Republican. Because that was the reality at the time. The West was heavily Republican. And Oklahoma. We'll talk about Texas and the South and Missouri. Iowa probably would have gone Republican, though. Won't hold our breaths. We'll give Romney, Illinois, and Wisconsin, like Nixon won in real life. We'll talk about Minnesota. Because it's his home state, I'm going to give Romney Michigan. Also going to give him Ohio. We'll talk about Kentucky and the rest of the South, including Virginia. I think Romney could probably... I remember how close some of these states were. D.C., he definitely wouldn't win. I'm going to give Humphrey most of the same states he won in real life. Talk about Pennsylvania. West Virginia would more than likely go for Humphrey. So now we got to talk about the South, the Southern periphery, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and actually these states would more than likely go for Romney as well. Romney's not that far off from winning, pretty much. And that's not a bad thing. Okay, sorry, family's texting me. I'm trying to read that while doing a video. Completely unprofessional, by the way. Anyway, so let's focus on the video real quick. Minnesota and Pennsylvania. I think these will be the easier ones. I think Romney is probably a little bit more palatable in these states. I'll give him Pennsylvania, but not Minnesota. Now let's go to the South and the Southern periphery. I think Romney wouldn't be as, I don't even want to say as competitive. The truth is Nixon didn't really compete as much as you'd think in the South. You go to Southern states, you add up Wallace and Humphrey's totals, and combined, they beat Nixon. And if I remember correctly from what I've been looking at, Nixon didn't really compete above where Republicans previously had. Maybe a small amount, but nothing significant. And to me, that indicates that either his Southern strategy failed miserably or he didn't have one. And he did try to make inroads in the South, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to win Tennessee, North Carolina, Florida, these southern periphery states, Virginia even. I'm going to give Romney Virginia because it was very much an establishment state anyway, kind of still is. He only needs 2 votes. Humphrey will probably win Texas. I expect Wallace to win basically the same states he did, except maybe get put over the top in North Carolina and Tennessee, maybe South Carolina as well. Yeah, and South Carolina, which is part of the deep South, so to speak. I'm going to give Kentucky, Missouri, and Florida to Romney, though. So we see a slight improvement for Wallace, who's really only running against Humphrey in the Deep South. And we see an improvement in Romney pretty much everywhere else. Slight amounts. Washington would probably be a little bit competitive. Texas is was still at the time extremely democratic. So, and West Virginia was safe blue at the time. So this is what I think would be a reasonable map. You can make an argument that Humphrey would do well here in the South, and maybe even pick these states up. Oops. Like, if Humphrey was able to win the South, this was basically the Democratic plan to win the election. Win enough northeastern states and win the South, and you're good. Yeah, actually, I believe I did give... but something happened, and they had to change their plans. And the truth is, it was probably the Democrats becoming a more liberal party rather than the Republicans targeting voters who were disaffected by the Civil Rights Act. And sometime in December, I should have a video going over that in much more detail with a lot more sources and everything else, because that is interesting, and I want people to realize that we maybe overestimate and overplay the significance of the South flipping Republican. And it didn't even flip Republican in a serious amount. And a lot of people say, well, obviously the Republicans became racist in '64. Not really. We'll talk about that in a bit. We'll talk about that in that as well. 72, this is what really happened. Some people will say, well, this is clear evidence of that. Well, no, McGovern was just farther left than Bernie was. And in the 70s, that's a terrible idea. And then we see, wait a second, the South voted Democratic again. Huh, go figure. And then you still have some southern states voting Democrat. And this is clear evidence. Not really. We'll skip past this. Well, West Virginia, again, is weird, but we'll skip past this and... oh, wait, what? Yeah, really? Really? The South is solid Republican? I don't think so. Now, obviously, these were narrow victories for Clinton, but he almost won Texas, he almost won Florida, he almost won North Carolina, almost won Virginia. Hey, let's check this out. He still performed well. He even picked up some Sunbelt states. And Bush only narrowly won some states that we now think of as solid Republican. Heck, you go to 2004, and some of these states are still somewhat competitive. In 2008, you see the cracks of that still. So the truth is, the South isn't quote-unquote solid Republican. It just tends to favor Republicans. And we can talk all day and look at down-ballot races, but that's all we have to work off of, as well as analysis and all that. Anyway, guys, I want to thank everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Bye.